Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to the loads of participants of this new European Food STA webinar about nutritional and health claims. Thank you very much for your high interest in this topic. In the next half hour to the 45 minutes, we will give you a presentation about the labeling and presentation of nutritional and health claims based on the EC regulation 1924-2006 and of course the new developments which have taken place. The formulation of this regulation has a long history. I can remember when I was young and started my food studies, there were some crackers on the market from a huge multinational concern which had stated some labeling that these crackers would prevent from heart attack. Others would prevent from ulcer cancer. So these were famous products because you had one hospital in one cracker. And of course the ball was played to the food authorities and the regulative bodies to do something, to give a framework so that these labelings in future would have some kind of frame around and some kind of regulative background. Later on in 2006, the nutritional and health claims regulation was introduced, so there were huge discussions about the content and about the realizability of claims later on, if SMEs and smaller companies would even be able to post claims later on with this framework. And of course we do not have very much claims stated under this regulation right now, besides the official authorized nutritional claims from the Article 13 lists, but we will see this later on during the presentation. Before we start the presentations, a few words to my person. I'm Julian Drausinger. I'm a graduated food technologist and I'm working in the Austrian Food Research Institute, LVA, based in Vienna. We are a private non-profit research center giving services to commercial parties based in the food field. So this means, of course, food producers, food retailers, system gastronomies, and so on and so on. We are also part of the national Codex Alimentarius groups. So we also give kind of consultancy to the steering process of formulations inside the Codex gremia, and we offer services in terms of food microbiology, physical and chemical analysis, sensorial analysis, and of course certification, consultancy, and in my department, European and international F&E, R&D projects, and also we do a lot of knowledge transfer here in Austria. We offer more than 30 seminars, on-site seminars in Austria to the national food industry, and also we do a lot of international knowledge transfer, so that's why we are also part of the European Food STA project. Before we will start, I will give you a technical consultancy, an introduction how to use your control panel. Of course, this webinar is free, it's financed by the European Union, so it's of course compulsory to give some words about this funded EuFooD STA project. Later on, Anna Maria will give us the presentation you are waiting for heavily, and it's possible to state questions written during the presentation. Technically, it would be feasible also oral by hand raising, but I recommend that you give me your input by written questions during the presentation. When we have finished this webinar, promptly afterwards, there's the possibility to fill out an evaluation feedback form. This evaluation feedback form will also be sent to you via email, so if you do not want to tick the box directly after the webinar, you can also do it later on via email. And of course, you can just send us suggestions for content, and also if you have some remarks to give, to our email address office@iseki-food.net. So let's come to the technical aspects. You see here what you see on your screen as well, your control panel. You have some elements in there where you can tick. You can have this red one here to minimize your panel if you just want to have a look at other items on your screen. You can follow us in the full screen mode. As I said, you have here the raise hand button where you can raise hand, but I would recommend not to use it because for technical reasons I have a very huge list of participants, and it's possible that I do not see if you have ticked the raised hand buttons. So once again, if you have something to tell me, if you want to interact, please use the question mark which is here. Questions can be easily typed in the question area, and then you can post your question here. This I can see very well on my second screen, and I can promptly get into contact with you. So we are loads of participants today, so there would be huge noise in the background. From my side, all microphones are muted. So if you unmute your microphone, I will see it, I will hear it, and I will mute it once again. So please stick to the mute microphone policy so that it's more easy for all of us to follow the presenter and the presentation. If you have to stop watching the webinar, the session will be recorded, which means in 1 or 2 days after the webinar, you will be informed about the possibility to watch the session on the EuFooD STA webpage. It will be accessible free of charge there once again, and you can follow on the webinar once again, or you can start where you had to stop today. A few words to the EuFooD STA project, and I'm very sorry because I noticed that I have forgotten to put on the screen. So we will go once again back to the control panel. What I said before, here is minimize panel. Here you can have the full screen dot. You have the raise hand button, mute, unmute the microphone, but once again, I will mute it. And this is the post area for the post questions. So please, if you want to get into contact with me, please use the question area. Sorry for this, but now once again, back to the EuFooD STA project. It is an Erasmus Plus Knowledge Alliance project lasting now for a longer time. It started in 2015, and it will have its final phase in beginning of 2018 because we got the allowance to have some more months on this project from the European Union. So the final activities of this project will be in April 2018 in Barcelona. So this means we now have some more month time for interaction with you, for knowledge transfer, for more webinars. The basic vision behind the project was what you obviously will also face in your daily work, I would say, like us. We have universities, we have research, we have basic research, we have results out of projects, results on the university side, and we have a need for solutions on the food industry side. And sometimes, not to say mostly always, we have this huge gap in between, how we bridge these solutions coming from the research projects into practical solutions for the food industry, for the companies. On the one side, we have the universities with the long-term strategies, with the need for publications, because if they do not have publications, they are not high in the ranking, then they do not get much money, and so on, and so on, and so on. On the other hand, we have the companies which need short-term solutions because the time to market has to be strict and very narrow. We have to handle with the IPI issues. Food industry companies would like to own the things they produce or they use in processes, and as I said, we have the time constraints. And the vision is in the EuFooD STA project to close the gap between the universities and the industry with the EuFooD STA system, which I would like to introduce you right now. And of course, we would like to offer industry practical solutions on a low threshold so that we do not have much time, or we do not need much time to implement them. We just want to use it, take it, and implement it to practicability solutions. Just one word to the consortium. We are acting European-wide. We have 7 universities, 3 food companies, and 11 multiplier organizations throughout the whole of Europe, going from Great Britain to Greece, to Spain, Portugal, Italy, and also to the Central European European area. You will see there are a lot of logos which you can have a look afterwards in the recorded session, of course. For a longer time, we have universities based, the coordinator in Vienna, University of Agriculture BOCO. We have the AgroParisTech, IPC, and UCP in Portugal. We have the University of Hohenheim being partner of the consortium. We have University Leeds and the University of Teramo in Italy. And food companies as accompanying and consultancy bodies, we have the Frulact from Portugal, a multinational acting company. Ana Maria from Frulact today will give the webinar. We have the GB Foods from Spain, and we have a very small company based in Switzerland, Nestle. Maybe some of you will have heard of Nestle before. And of course, we have these multiplier agents as us, like the LVA. We have Actia in France, Federalimentare, the Italian Food Federation in Italy, ANIA, FIA from France, Spain, CEFT from Greece, FIPA from Portugal. And of course, we have the roof organization of IFA, the ISEKI-Food Association network, which gives us a strong backbone for this project. And we have the EFOST and the SPES as an industry network, and also we take care of the students' issues by the International Acting Heroica. EFSC is a collection of letters which means EuFooD STA Center, and this is one of the achievements of this project, that we will have physically centers based on some national countries. So we are not just acting in the internet or somewhere in the air. You can touch us, you can feel us, you can talk with us in these EuFooD STA centers. We have centers in Paris, in Hohenheim, in Vienna. We are running one of these centers. Leeds, Porto, Teramo, Barcelona, Athens. So we have quite a high number of these centers where you can interact with us, you can contact us, you can send us some emails, you can phone us. So we are here for you at your service. Please use our physical centers for your benefit. And the last slide is for you. What is our achievement and what is our benefit? We have these regional areas where we act with the research, with the industry, with food clusters, so nearly with all the players along the food chain. We are also acting with funding bodies, we are also acting with policymakers. So if you would like to support this approach and would like to make us stronger, then please join us, because you can be member of the EuFooD STA project, you can be member of the EuFooD STA network, and you can do it for free. You do not have to pay. Please apply for membership at www.food-sta.eu. We would be more than happy to have strong members in our EuFooD STA centers, so that we are more powerful as we are even today, and that we have a very good position for the bridging of industry and the research side, and also for the knowledge multiplicators, for the knowledge transfer organizations, so that we give a very good basis for the boosted competitiveness of EU food companies, and also for the boosted strong position of the EU research and universities. So thank you very much for your patience for this introduction of the EuFooD STA project. We are now perfectly on time to start the webinar you have been waiting heavily for. And I would like to introduce Mariana Oliveira from Frulact. She's based in Portugal. As I mentioned, Frulact is a multinational company. They do not only take care of Portugal or the Portuguese market. They are acting multinationally. They take care of European legislation, of course, also from worldwide legislation. She, for herself, is a graduated food engineer, started also for R&D topics in the company, and now for more than a number of years she's coordinator of the regulatory and specification team in Frulact, and therefore she is one of the perfect candidates for this webinar today, because she has highly experience in implementing and acting according to the health claims regulation. She will give us some introduction on it. She will give us introduction on the nutrition claims and the conditions, and also on the health claims. You will see later on in our webinar, of course, the specification in nutrition and health claims, and disease of risk claims, and illness disease affected claims which are forbidden, and so on and so on and so on. We could talk for hours, but it's much more better if Ana Oliveira will take the next 30 minutes to give us her overview about the health claims regulations. And I hope Ana is there, because I will now give her moderator's rights. And I will unmute her micro. So Ana, are you there?
Yes, Julian, thank you so much. Welcome to this webinar on... Can you hear me, Julian? It's okay?
I can hear you perfectly, and please go ahead. We are urgently waiting for your slides to be presented.
Thank you. Welcome to this webinar on nutrition and health claims. Today we are going to explore a little bit Regulation 1924 of 2006 on regulation on nutrition and health claims made on foods. This regulation harmonizes the provisions laid down in member states which relate to nutrition and health claims, with the objective of ensure the functioning of the internal market and provide a high level of consumer protection. It applies to nutrition and health claims made in commercial communications in all different forms. It gives us some tools. The community register, it's online, is very useful. We will go through it a little bit later. We can consult the list of approved nutrition claims, health claims, and also the rejected ones. But first is first, and we need to start with some definitions. Some are in the Regulation 1924, others are in other regulations. First one is food. Food is any substance or product, whether processed, partially processed, or unprocessed, intended to be or reasonably expected to be ingested by humans. Another definition that is important in this context is nutrition labeling. That is information stating the energy value or the energy value as well as one of the following nutrients: fat, carbohydrate, salt, fiber, protein, vitamins or minerals. The vitamins or minerals that are listed in Annex 13 and present in significant amounts. Here you have the definitions of different nutrients. I won't go in detail all over them. It's just for stay in the webinar because they are important in the context of the claims. We have here fat, carbohydrate, sugars, protein, salt. Remember, salt is equivalent content calculated using the formula salt equals sodium multiplying by 2.5, and fiber. We have also a table with conversion factors for the calculation of energy, also useful when we are making claims. And now, definitions in Regulation 1924 claim. It's any message or representation which states, suggests, or implies that the food has particular characteristics. A nutrient, again, is a protein, carbohydrate, fat, fiber, sodium, vitamins and minerals, and substances which belong to one of those categories. Also, a definition of other substance, that is a substance other than a nutrient that has a nutritional or physiological effect. Continuing on definitions, now on definitions of claims, we have nutrition claim. It's any claim which states, suggests, or implies that a food has particular beneficial nutritional properties due to the energy or the nutrients it contains. Health claim, it's a claim that states, suggests, or implies that a relationship exists between food and health. And in health claim, we have also reduction of disease risk claim, which is an health claim that states, suggests, or implies that consumption of a food could significantly reduce the risk factor in development of a human disease. That's all for definitions. And now we are going to the general principles. Nutritional and health claims shall not be false, ambiguous, or misleading. They should not give rise to doubt about the safety or nutritional adequacy of other foods, or encourage or condone excess consumption of a food. They shall not state or suggest that a variety diet cannot provide appropriate quantities of nutrients in general. There are some exceptions. Or refer to changes in bodily functions which could give rise to or exploit fear in consumer. As a general principle, all the information that we give to consumers, either is claims or any other information, it should not mislead the consumer. It's the main aim. In which concerns conditions for the use of nutrition and health claims, the regulation in 1924, in 2006, said that by 2009 the Commission shall establish nutrient profiles and conditions for use of nutrition or health claims with respect to nutrient profiles. These nutrient profiles were based in scientific knowledge, and the aim was to avoid situations where nutrition or health claims mask the overall nutritional status of a food product, which could mislead consumers. By 2017, no nutrient profiles have been set yet at the EU level. Recently, an open letter was sent to the European Commission expressing the importance of creating nutrient profiles. The use of nutrition and health claims shall apply only if the presence, absence, or reduced content in a food of a nutrient or other substance has been shown to have a beneficial nutritional or psychological effect as established by generally accepted scientific evidence. The nutrient and other substance for which the claim is made is contained in the final product in a significant quantity or in a quantity that will produce nutritional or physiological effect, and is not present or is present in a reduced quantity that will produce the nutritional or physiological effect claimed. Further, we will see some examples and it will be easier to understand all these concepts. Also, nutrition and health claims shall apply only if the nutrient or other substance for which the claim is made is in a form that is available to be used in the body. The quantity of the product that can reasonably be expected to be consumed provides a significant quantity of the nutrient or other substance. And of course, all the claims should comply with the specific conditions that are set out, and we will analyze. Regarding nutrition and health claims, this is a scheme of the regulation. So we have nutrition claims. They can be consulted in the community register online or in the annex of Regulation 1924. We have also health claims in Article 13 of the regulation and 14 of the regulation. Article 13 is about function health claims, and Article 14 has in point 1A risk reduction claims, and in point 1B health claims referring to children's development. All of these can be consulted in community register of accepted and rejected health claims. We will start with nutrition claims, and then we'll go through health claims. Both nutrition and health claims shall only be permitted if they are listed and in conformity with the conditions set out in this regulation. To have these conditions was one of the main objectives of the regulation. A nutrition claim, again, is any claim which states, suggests or implies that the food has a particular beneficial nutritional property due to the energy it provides or does not provide, or the nutrients it contains or does not contain. Here is the list of all approved nutrition claims. We have claims regarding energy, low, reduced, free, fat, low, fat-free. Regarding sugars, again, low, sugars-free, with no added sugar. Nutrition claims on salts, fiber and protein, and also on vitamins and minerals. Some nutrition claims on use of word light, naturally, and content of omega-3. I'm not going at this point to go through the conditions of use because I will come back here with examples. I think it's easier to understand that way and much more interesting. And a few more. We can also have comparative claims. When you have comparative claims, they may only be made between foods of the same category, and difference in the quantity of the nutrient or energy should be stated. We'll have an example also. Here they are. In this product, we have two nutrition claims, a high protein, a low in fat. So when we have nutrition or health claims, we always have the nutritional information. It's mandatory. So for the high protein claim, it may only be made where at least 20% of the energy value of the food is provided by protein. Regarding low in fats, it can only be made where the product contains no more than 3 grams of fat per 100 grams of solids. Here we have the information on fats, and here the information that we need to make the calculations and make our claim on high protein. Another example, low fats, again, can be made where the product contains no more than 3 grams per 100 grams of solid. Another example, with no added sugars. May only be made where the product does not contain any added mono or disaccharides or any other food used for its sweetening properties. If sugars are naturally present, we can state contains naturally occurring sugars. We can see this sentence over here at the bottom. In the example, we also have a comparative claim. It is made between foods of the same category and the quantity is stated. Here we have 25% less salt and the sentence 25% less salt than standard ice cream of tomato soup. In this example, we have several claims. No added salt, no added sugar, high fiber, high in vitamin A, high in potassium. For each one of them, we have the conditions of use. I'm just going through the salts. It may only be made where the product does not contain any added sodium or salt or any other ingredient containing added sodium or salt, and the product contains no more than 0.12 grams of sodium or the equivalent value of salt. Once again, all the information is in the nutritional table. We have to notice that sometimes one nutritional claim needs the help of another. When you are making a claim on high vitamin, for instance, it may only be made where the product contains at least twice the value of source of. So we need to go to the source of vitamin claim, make the calculation and double it to have the high value claim. A last example, source of calcium and protein. Again, the conditions of use and the conversion factors table for calculation. We now are going to explore the health claims. both functional health claims and risk reduction claims and health claims referring to children's development. Health claim is any claim that states, suggests, or implies that a relationship exists between food and health. And they shall only be permitted if the following information is included: a statement indicating the importance of a varied and balanced diet and a healthy lifestyle, the quantity of the food and pattern of consumption required to obtain the claimed effect, and, if appropriate, a statement addressed to persons who should avoid using the food, and a warning for products that are likely to present a health risk if consumed to excess. There are some restrictions. For instance, an health claim shall not be allowed if it suggests that health could be affected by not consuming the food, or which make reference to the rate of amount of weight loss. There are three different types of health claim, as we said before. We have function health claims in Article 13. We have risk reduction claims in Article 14(1)(a), and health claims referring to children's development in Article 14(1)(b). Some examples of the first one, the function health claim, that are relating to growth, development, and functions of the body, as well as psychological and behavioral functions or slimming or weight control. Here we have B vitamins, which can help the normal function of nervous system. In the risk reduction claims, we have this example: plant stanol ester has been shown to lower cholesterol. And regarding health claims and children, we have this example: calcium is needed for normal growth and development of bone in children. All of the wording and conditions are set in the regulation, as we will see. Before we go through the health claims, I just really quickly want to present you the EU Register on Nutrition and Health Claims. It's online. It's extremely helpful. Here you can find the permitted nutrition claims and their conditions of use. Same for health claims. We can also find non-authorized health claims, some legal acts and national measures. And now, returning to our health claims, function health claims, Article 13. Function health claims describing or referring to the role of a nutrient or other substance in growth, development, and functions of the body, or psychological and behavioral functions, and slimming or weight control. All of these are in the positive list in regulation and are easily accessed by the community register. This is an example. This is the home page of the register. If we want to consult an allowed or rejected function health claim, we just go to search, select authorized if you want the authorized ones, select the article 13, and we have the list. This is not a complete list, of course. The list of all accepted function claims. The nutrient, substance, food or food category, the claim that can be made, and the conditions in which we can do the claim. Another example. We can also find the health claims for which protection of property data has been granted. This is an example of the table you can find. Moving now to Article 14 and health claims on reduction of disease risk claims and claims referring to children development and health. These claims refer to reduction of disease risk claims and children development of health. In addition to general requirements that we have talked before, they shall bear a statement indicating that disease to which the claim is referring has multiple risk factors. Once again, All of these health claims and conditions of use are in community register. So going to the register, search, authorized claims, type of claim 41A, for instance, and we can consult the table on health claims of Article 41A, the nutrient, the wording, and conditions of use. Same thing for health claims related with children development. And now we are going to explore some examples. In this example, we have here the two health claims. As you can see, going to the register, they are both authorized, one in category 41 and the other on 13, function health claim. The wording is set here and is the same that you can see here. The conditions of use are in this column, and they are expressed also in the label. Because it's a health claim, there are some statements that are mandatory, and the statements you can see here in these parts. Another example, and in this you can find many products that have not only nutrition claims but also nutrition and health claims. This is one example, and they are so low saturated fat, and the claim that reducing consumption of saturated fat contributes to the maintenance of normal blood cholesterol levels. So here you have the allegation, the claim, and the sentence that need to be made when you make a claim. Another example, you can see here low in sat fat and the conditions to make that nutrition claim. And then a health claim on plant sterols. This is here, plant sterol ester has been shown to lower cholesterol, and high cholesterol is a risk factor in development of coronary heart disease. All this wording is predefined and must be used with some small changes. Once again, the sentences that must be present, mainly the information that this is not intended for people who do not need to control their blood cholesterol, or maybe not be nutritional appropriate for pregnant or breastfeeding women and children under 5 years old. Another example where we have nutrition and health claims. We have a claim on source of vitamins and minerals, in this case calcium. We have also a comparative claim, as you can see here, 30% less sugar compared to standard pot yogurt, and an health claim relating calcium and development of bone in children, that you can see here. Calcium is needed for normal growth and development in children. Again, conditions of use of this particular health claim. In this case, it has to be source of calcium, and we will have all the information here. Once again, both nutrition and health claims. Rich in calcium. So here we have rich and high as synonyms. To make the high claim, we need information on the source claim. That's why this is here. And again, for the health claim, calcium and vitamin D are needed for normal growth and development of bone in children. The conditions of use are are in the package, as well as the sentences that are important to state according to regulation. And finally, an example with multiple health claims and nutrition claims. Once again, register online is where we can go and check if we can make the claim we want to. Some useful links. And thank you for assisting. Have a nice evening, afternoon.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anna. I'm still waiting for my webcam to arise, so I hope everybody can see me right now. Thank you very much for your clarification and your detailed insight on the background and the contents of the health claims regulations and all the affected matters. So there were a number of questions from the audience, and I would like to start with the first question and also to pass it over to you that you can read it while I'm reading it. The first question is from Christine Boulet. Hello, I would like to know what the regulatory process is to add a new nutritional claim to the list of the authorized nutrition claims. So I assume she's referring to the Article 13 list. Is there an ongoing process that EFSA collects new applications, or are there some deadlines when a company can apply for a new claim? What is the process for this Article 13 list right now? Anna.
So I didn't went to the process. It is also in regulation 1924. Personally, I have never submit a health or nutrition claim, but there is a group of information based on scientific tests that must be presented to the European Commission. It will be evaluated by EFSA, and then they will present their opinion to the European Commission, and it follows all the process until the Parliament, and then it will be validated or not. I don't really know the details, but all the information is in the regulation.
Mm-hmm. So if I may assist you for a second, so there it is. So this is just a screenshot from the internet. As far as I know, it is an ongoing process, and from time to time EFSA gives publication about some substantiated and non-substantiated claims. So you can see here two publications which are the only two ones which have been publicized after the health claims regulations. It's 353/2008 and 1169/2009. So there you can have some additional non or substantiated health claims in a kind of register. But nobody knows when the next publication or the next substantiation of EFSA will take place. So the next question, that's a question everybody is discussing about. Is there a regulation on health and nutrition claims on pet food? So not on food intended to use by humans, but on pet foods. Are pet foods foods? And in the next level, is the health claims regulation also available for pet foods? Do you have any information on this, Anna?
Not really. What I know is that this regulation is only for food for humans. I don't really know pet food, how it works nowadays. I don't work in that area. I'm really sorry, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is the same for me. I think that pet foods are not affected by the health claims regulation, but this does not mean that you can use any claim. I would say from the opposite, that you cannot use any claim on this. The next question is a longer one. Let me pass it over to you, Anna. Hello, regarding the claim no added sugars. Depending on member states, there are different interpretations about the possibility to use this nutrition claim, even when the food contains sweeteners. Are you aware about that? And if yes, are there any discussions on the European level? Are you aware about any developments about this topic of no added sugars claim? Do you know anything about it right now, Anna?
I know this is a kind of tricky claim. It has been several discussions around it, especially because at some point in beginnings, some people interpret sugar as saccharose, and it's not. Sugar, it's any mono or disaccharide, or any food that has the sweetened profile as fruit concentrates, for instance. There was a debate if you could use food concentrates and say no added sugar. That's not really correct, because the fruit concentrates, if they are there with the purpose of adding sugar and no other purpose, it's not complying with the regulation. Regarding sweeteners as additives, I believe you can use. You have some products with reduced energy, so with no added sugar that use sweeteners. I believe we can use sweeteners. Regarding the discussion at EC level, I'm not really aware. I know this is a claim that sometimes is difficult to comply with, to be sure that we comply with the claim.
Thank you, Anna. And we have another question. When you're making a comparative claim on a food, if it is sufficient to only base the comparison on a standard food in the same brand, or do you need to make the comparison with several other brands? So do you just have to compare it with one product, or do you have to make further comparisons with a huge variety of foods if you state a comparative claim?
It's according to the definition, if I'm not wrong, I'm just consulting. Usually the examples that I saw is inside the same brand, they make the comparison between a new product in the brand, but it's possible to make with others. And usually when you make a comparison claim, you have compared with that group of products. Either it's in your own brand or in the other products you have in the market. So yes, you should compare with the other products of the same type. When you make the claim, you should state which product you are comparing to.
Yeah, indeed. So basically you have to do a really substantiated analysis, and so you cannot only take one product out of the shelves which matches with your ideas. So basically you have to take a group of products and to have a well-based platform of data for this. Yeah, thank you, Anna. I just have a final comment from Julie Danier. I hope I could spell it right. She says that the sweeteners claim is not allowed in France. Thank you for this comment. We do not have further questions, what I see right now. Okay, so then once again, thank you very much, Anna, for your presentation about the health claims. And before we end the webinar, I just want to draw the attention of the participants to the web page of our European Food Star project. It's www.food-star.eu, and here in the events webinar sections you have the calendar of upcoming and past webinars, and this is also the section where you can review the whole webinar later on. I mentioned it is recorded, and I think in 2 to 3 days time it will be here in the table below in the past webinars, and if you click off one of these webinars you can watch the webinars or review this especially webinar for free. Yeah, that's all we can say about. Once again, thank you very much for your interest and your attention for this small hour of webinar for the health claims. Thank you, Anna, for your presentation, and I would be eager and more than happy to welcome you in one of the upcoming webinars of FoodStar in the future. So have a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening wherever you are around the world. And thank you very much for staying this time with us and watching